What's up, fellas? I'm outside trying to sun max, and we're in Advent now, and I want to talk about the Advent season and the meaning of Advent. I've never really taken it super seriously until this year. I had never even really paid attention to the liturgical seasons until fairly recently, but there's a lot there with Advent, and I think a lot of the messaging and themes of Advent can help us kind of make sense and deal with the present day circumstances of basically living in clown world and living in kind of like an entropy filled west where things are just getting worse and worse as time goes on. Each generation is becoming more and more decadent than the previous one, and I don't know that it's necessarily the current system of liberal democracy. I don't know that Republicans even will be able to win ever again due to demographics. So it's kind of like we're kind of living in a waning empire. I don't think things may or may not collapse rapidly. We don't know, but it's kind of a dark world, and I think we can take solace in the understanding of Advent, in that there's kind of a twofold aspect of Advent. There is the first 2 weeks actually of Advent are to commemorate the second coming of Christ, and the third and the fourth week are actually about the incarnation, the nativity. So it's, in one sense, they were looking forward to the light and the darkness with the birth of Christ, but it's also very real and is relevant to today because we're still looking forward to the second coming of Christ, which we don't know when that's going to happen. Eschatologically, I think there's probably got to be more stuff. With my understanding, there's probably going to be more stuff that happens before the end of the world. Of course, if we believe what Fatima has told us. I have a book on eschatology I'd like to read at some point, but it just seems like there's probably going to be more ages beyond where we're at now. But the second coming of Christ is one thing. There's also kind of like little micro victories scattered throughout history, like the Battle of Lepanto. So we are looking forward to that moment when things turn around, where the West is declining now, but hopefully eventually the West will, come back to Christ. So that's kind of a hope and anticipation for that. And then, of course, December 25th is the winter solstice, and it previously was taken because Yule, and there were several pagan festivals that were during the winter solstice. So it's very symbolic that Christ, the Savior of the world, emerges into the world at the same time when the winter solstice during Yule they would celebrate, because it's like the turning of the tide between the battle of life and death. So the days are getting shorter and shorter until the winter solstice, and it's the beginning of the turning point of life over death. So so as Christ enters into the world, it's like the turning point. So we look forward to that turning point in our modern circumstances, but then we're also kind of reflecting upon that. What I'm doing, I plan to do some fasting. The liturgical color is purple, which is penitential, so we should be doing prayer, fasting, and kind of preparing ourselves. We have to do some fasting in order to truly be able to feast. And today, all that's left is the feast and the commercialization. It's all about the corporations. They're just like shading on Christian values throughout the whole year, but then they love Christmas because they get to sell you stuff. So all that's left is kind of like an echo of the original ethos of Christmas. There's also this idea of the Christmas octave, where in the Jews, their feasts were not just singular days. They would have an 8-day feast, and they would go on, because you can't fully feast and process things after one day. It takes like a full 8 days. So if you're fasting, then if you're fasting during Advent and during Lent, you'll actually appreciate Easter and Christmas more. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also not going to smoke cigarettes. I recently started smoking cigarettes because you should watch. There's a video by Father Ripperger talking about smoking, how it's not moral bad. I recently have gone into pipe smoking and cigars, so no more smoking. I'm also trying to take more cold showers, and I'm trying to go to daily mass, which I've never been able to successfully do. So I'm just trying to grow spiritually and be more in touch with the liturgical season. I also have an Advent wreath. So the Advent wreath apparently came from some Lutheran guy, but the Catholics kind of adopted it as well, and it's a means to kind of keep track of the days counting down towards Christmas. There's the 4 candles, the 3 purple candles, and the 1 pink candle, and the white candle. So the first 2 candles again are for the second coming of Christ. So it's hope is the first one, which has been 𝚑𝚗𝚝. Peace is the second week, and then we have 𝚕𝚘𝚋𝚗𝚘𝚗𝚘𝚗𝚘𝚗𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 and it's kind of like a break in the Advent kind of penance. And then there is the fourth Sunday, which is love, and then sometimes there's a white candle which you light on Christmas Day. So that's something you can do to be in touch with the season. Another thing you can do is just pray more, and just I think the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas should be more of a contemplative time. And I don't know about you, but I had some interesting conversations with family and friends who were in town for Thanksgiving, and we need to kind of like be more in touch with that. And I think it's more so the main takeaway from Advent in 2022 should be that we shouldn't hope in worldly things so much, but we will, like, things are looking bad, but things will eventually get better, chances are, if we just look forward to them. There's this curious dog that's walking up to me. I'm in the middle of a park right now. The dog is just wants me to pet him. Dog ran off. Yeah, but anyways, I'm going to do a Christmas lore video, kind of talk about the Christmas traditions that are happening in the church. And I did a lot of research on this last year, but I'll do a Christmas lore video in the future. Please subscribe if you like this kind of content. I like doing historical videos on the liturgical seasons, and give me some feedback, please. And if you like this, then leave a comment, like, subscribe. I gotta do that generic stuff. Eventually I want to move over to Odyssey, because like I said, YouTube actually censored my last video. I was talking about the election. So hope you guys like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good Advent.